Today I'm going to go over the Nouvelle archetype, and if you are hungry, you should probably go get something to eat now, because it's only going to get worse. To start, all of the things are named French words. I don't know any of it, so I'm just going to call them vaguely what they are. We have our only non-ritual main deck monster. I'm just going to go Waitress. She is a pendulum monster. Her effect, her monster effect, I should say. If this card is normal or special, you can activate one of these two following effects. You can either add a ritual monster or recipe card from your deck to your hand. Or you can banish any number of ritual recipe cards from your graveyard, special summon a Nouvelle ritual monster from your hand whose total level equals the number banished. You can only do that once per turn. And if this card is treated and added to the extra deck, you can place into your pendulum zone. Which leads me over to its pendulum effect. It is a scale 8, and if you control ritual monster, you can target a monster your opponent controls and summon this card to your field, then change that monster your opponent controls to the opposite position it's currently in. What the main idea behind it is you put in your pendulum zone, you change one of your opponent's monsters around, and now that it's been changed and stuff, you get to summon this to your field, gains effect, and then tribute off for a new ritual summon. And because all of our Nouvelle monsters, they each share common effects. On summon, they get to do something, and they all have an effect to summon more Nouvelles. The level 1 and 2 Nouvelle, they share the same summoning. They share the same summoning a new monster effect. If they're targeted, when a card or effect is activated that targets this card on the field, or if this card is targeted for an attack, you contribute this card and one attack position monster on either field. And if you do, special summon a level 2 or 3 Nouvelle ritual monster from your hand or deck. You can only use each of the effects once per turn. Its other effect is its unsummon effect, which allows you to activate the top 5 cards of your deck, and if you do, you can add one activated Nouvelle card from your deck to your hand, also shuffle the rest of them into the deck. It's a level 1 monster, so it's the easiest kind of monster to summon. And next, we're going to go with the level 2 monster. Has the same summoning more monsters effects, but unsummon, you can target a spell trap card on the field and destroy it. We move on to the level 3 monster, which on summon lets you draw a card. It also, if a monster on the field is targeted. So now it doesn't have to be this card for the level 3 and 4 monster. Any card can be targeted, not just itself, but it still has to choose another one of your monsters. And then you go into level 5 or 6. The level 4 Nouvelle allows you to, on summon, target 3 cards in the graveyard, shuffle them in the deck. It can be any graveyard and has the same as the level 3 monster for the other summoning mechanic. Next, we're going to go over the level 5. On summon, if you can add a Nouvelle or recipe card from your deck to your hand. It also allows you to target attack position monster your opponent controls, tribute it, and if you do, special summon the level 6 Nouvelle ritual monster from your hand or deck. This is a quick effect if this card was summoned by the effect of a Nouvelle monster, which is usually how you're going to summon it, because, well, that's sort of what the whole dex mechanic is. It sort of reminds me a lot of Megalith, how all of their effects have to do with summoning more monsters. You use the monsters to summon more monsters. It's not really as much as Megalith does it, but it's pretty similar. Next, we got our last ritual monster, level 6. On summon, you can negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent controls until the end of this turn. Then, if this card was summoned by the effect of a Nouvelle monster, tribute as many monsters your opponent controls as monsters. Nouvelle as possible. Quick effect, you can Target one attack position monster upon controls, tribute it, and if you do, special summon Hungry Burger from your hand or deck? What? But that doesn't do anything. The best thing you can do with that effect is get out of the way of a targeted negation. Because Hungry Burger is a level 6, 2000 attack, 1600 defense Dark Warrior ritual monster that does nothing. It has no effect. So why would you wish to get rid of your boss monster that has better stats to summon out a monster that does nothing for you, except to get around target negation? Well, time to move on. Oops. Well, it's time for us to go over our ritual monsters, which is how we're gonna have to start the chain of going through our novels. Our fish recipe. It can be used to ritual summon Nouvelle ritual monsters. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total level equals or exceeds the level of the ritual monster. Ooh, you ritual summon. It can exceed. Then if you ritual summon, the level 1. Oops. No, wait, no, that's correct. If you ritual summon the level 1, you can apply the following effect. Add one recipe ritual spell from your deck or graveyard to your hand, except a copy itself. But you're probably wondering, what's left? Well, we have meat recipe. It's very similar. You ritual summon its generic ritual spell. But if you ritual summon the level 2 monster, yes. Change all defense position monsters your opponent controls to attack position. So it lets us get out our monster, and the level 1 and level 2 is usually how you're going to start your Nouvelle chain, and, well, it helps you start your Nouvelle chain. But that's it. That's it for the ritual spells. Only 2. Next, we're going to go over today's menu. Today's menu is going to reveal 2 Nouvelle monsters with different names from your deck. Your opponent chooses one of them to add to your hand, and you shuffle the other 2 in the deck. Shuffle the other one into the deck. Then you can add one of those cards in the deck. Hold up. Wow, I somehow forgot what this did. So you reveal 2 Nouvelle monsters from your deck. Your opponent chooses one of them, the other one goes back in your deck. But depending on the type of the monster you showed off, you get to add a different card. If it was a Beast Warrior, you could add Fish Recipe. But if it was a normal warrior, you just get to add Meat Recipe, which were the 2 ritual spells we went over. And the whole gimmick behind this is, here is our menu, time for you to choose. And they choose between the 2 dishes you're trying to give them, which is and the other one goes back. Then you get to, depending on what your opponent chose, you have to take out the recipe for it. Well, anyway, time to go over our next card. Choose a Nouvelle Pendulum monster, and don't know what that says. Pendulum monster from your hand deck and or extra deck, and special summon both monsters from one from your field. And also this turn you can't. Sorry about that. I don't know what it is about this archetype, but I really just don't like the wording of a lot of these cards. So you choose a Nouvelle Pendulum monster, which is, we only have one, and a card that I'm going to go over right after this one from your deck, hand, or extra deck. And special summon both of those monsters, one to each side of the field. For the rest of this turn, you can't fusion, synchro, XC, or link summon, except Nouvelle and Boba monsters. During the main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one face-up monster on the field. It gains 2 attack for each recipe card in your graveyard. You can only use each effect once per turn. So you can actually use both effects on the same turn, unlike most cards that activate their effects from the graveyard. Also, let's go over that card I mentioned. It's this, a level 5. A level 5 fusion gives 2 pendulum monsters. If this card in the monster zone is destroyed, you can place it in your pendulum zone. If you have no cards in your other pendulum zone, you can place one face-up pendulum monster from your extra deck in your pendulum zone. So its effect is pretty useless, and so this card is only really there to get your Nouvelle Pendulum Monster. This is just there for flavor. Get it? Flavor? Anyway, let's move on. The tab is our field spell. When this card is activated, you can add one recipe card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Once per turn, you can place one ritual monster from your hand to the bottom of your deck. Then draw one card. It's a cycle. It's also as a card on activation, like all good field spells. Once per turn during hand phase, you can target 2 cards in your graveyard, including a recipe. Place them on the bottom of the deck in order, then draw one card. And it also lets us it adds the card on activation. It cycles and also cycles from our graveyard. What's next? It's going to give us more attack. Oh no, that's everything. Except you can only activate one of these per turn. Next, we're going into our traps. We're going to start with our only continuous trap. Stuff recipe. It makes me think of stuffing. Anyway, you can target one virtual monster you control, so as to summon a Nouvelle token. Level 1 50/50 Dark Fiend. This token level becomes the same as the monster. So you can target your ritual monster you control, and then make a token that's it, but not it. It just has its level. Why? I'm not sure about that. You can send this face-up card in your spawn card zone to the graveyards. Ritual summon one Nouvelle ritual monster from your hand by treating monsters from your hand or field whose total level equals or exceeds the level of the ritual monster. You can only use each of those effects once per turn. So sure, you get to create a token, but it's not going to do much. Except that you do need all your Nouvelles to attribute a new monster. But it doesn't really care about the level of the monster you're attributing. So that's what's... And then you also get to destroy it, but that sort of defeats the purpose unless your opponent has targeted destruction on it. If your opponent was like nuking an entire board, it wouldn't really help. But if your opponent was destroying it specifically, you might as well get rid of it yourself. Chef special recipe. Bonjour, oui. Sorry, French people. We know we have to make fun of you. He's making the hungry burger. Wow. Let's see, when a spell / trap card or monster effect is activated while you control a Nouvelle virtual monster, negate the activation, then you can destroy this card. Then you can destroy that card if you control a monster that was summoned by a Nouvelle monster. So you get a Omni Negate that works while you control a Nouvelle virtual monster, and only destroys it if that monster was summoned by the effect of a Nouvelle monster. If you special summon Hungry Burger, you can banish this card from your graveyard to treat as many monsters your opponent controls as possible. So that's the whole entire point of summoning Hungry Burger. Nothing that does nothing. You just get to treat all your opponent's monsters. Well, I guess they don't get anything, and then you can just attack them. Well, anyway, I think I've made it plainly clear what I think about the deck. I hate reading it. It's so long and complicated. Most Yu-Gi-Oh decks, they're fine. I can read them no problem. But this one's just... The deck is interesting. It has a not really unique mechanic because Megalith exists. And trying to retrain the old Hungry Burger, be like, oh look, Hungry Burger is cool now. When it's a classic monster. It's not doing that. It's not really doing anything worth talking about. I think the coolest thing that this deck did is make some people hungry. I'm pretty sure if I sat down at a table and my opponent pulled out a hamburger in front of me, I'm going to get hungry. Well, anyway. That'll be it for this video. Click the subscribe button. You're only missing one piece of Exodia. Come on, draw it. Ah, man, that wasn't Exodia. That was... Elemental Hero Avion. No, I'm not doing heroes. Heroes are just too long. Good luck next time.